dai 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 dum. Yada dai dai dai. Yada dai 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 dai. Yada dai dai dai. Yada dai dai dai. Yada dai 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 dai. Yada dai 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 dum. Yada dai 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 dai. Ya ba ba hi ya dai 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 dai. Yada dai dai dai. Yada dai 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 dai. Yada dai dai dai. Yada dai dai dai. Yada dai 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 dai. Erev Tov, Shabbat Shalom. We are here to count. We're here to separate whatever has been from yesterday and start a new day together. So this day has been another one of those long days. Long days, challenging days, days with things and things we want to change and things we can't change and things we want to change and things that we actually do change. Within this week of Tiferet and beauty and harmony and compassion, finding this dimension of truth that is the proper balance between love and justice. All I can say is the word balance is the only thing that's sticking out to me in this moment. And so, as we close this day together on Shabbat, we already started Shabbat, so really we went overtime as far as closing the day. But since we do this every night at 9:30, we're gonna close. We're gonna close day 17, and we're gonna start fresh with day 18. What a good number, 18. So, with what we reflect on before we count together, that which is a little bit of gratitude, two things we're grateful for, giving voice to experiences that we have witnessed and shared today. And then, of course, finding forgiveness for things that maybe weren't perfect about today. So with gratitude, we say, Ma gadlu ma'asecha ya me'od amku machshavotecha. How great is the unfolding of all life. How deep the mystery. It's just weird how things happen, right? It's got to be something, some hand in the mix. Sometimes that is just the mystery of oneness, of God, of universe, of spirit, wherever you are. There are definitely things to be grateful for, and there are definitely moments today. I'm sure all of us have had a moment, if not multiple moments, where things weren't great, things weren't perfect. And so as we end this day together before we restart the next, God of the universe, allow us to forgive those who have angered, antagonized, or hurt us today, whether they did so accidentally or willfully, whether through speech or through deed. May we be forgiven. May we be forgiven for anything that we have done. Wrongs, speech, action. Whether we did it willfully, whether we did it by accident, may we find a place of compassion and kindness to guide us forward into the next day. And so when we count the Omer, there's a blessing for it. There's a realization that by doing this each and every night, we're adding something to our lives, whether it's sanctity, whether it was knowledge, whether it was understanding about ourselves, whether it's a bit of compassion, a bit of community, whatever it is, we're here for it. We show up for it. We're doing it. And so we do it together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ruach haolam, asher kidshanu, b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, al sfirat haomer, al sfirat haomer, al sfirat haomer, al sfirat haomer. Yesterday was day 17. That means it's 18 today. Hayom Shmona Asar Yom Shehem Shnei Shavuot V'arba Yamim LaOmer. Must put the arrow going in the wrong direction. That's the kind of day. And so here we are. Let me make sure the camera is showing us here. Or we can just do it this way. We don't have to see the whole thing. We're making progress, but we still have a long way to go. Progress, long way to go. And so, day 18. I don't know, you never have those days where you just like feel like you're sighing so much? It's never a good feeling. There were definitely great moments in today, but there's moments that just don't feel great. But anyway, that's the beauty of getting a new day and a new moment, right? So today is day 18. Sorry, a little like something in my throat. Netzach Shebet Tiferet. Netzach Shebet Tiferet. Endurance, which is this persistence and endurance and realizing that life is not a sprint. Certainly the Omer isn't a sprint, even though, 7 weeks doesn't seem like very long, but 7 weeks can be super long, or sometimes it feels super short. But we realize during the Omer period that, life is not a sprint, rather a marathon, and we need the endurance, and we need perseverance, and we need persistence and confidence and fortitude when we're moving through. In the week of Tiferet, in the week of truth and balance, in the week of harmony and compassion, in the week of beauty. Netzach Shebet Tiferet, endurance within the heart. Psalm 18 on day 18 says, God brings me out into the expanse and releases me because God desires me. They always say this, set them free. And if they return, it's worth it. And if they don't, if you love someone, set them free. I think that's the words. And in truth, it's a fine teaching. If you love someone, let them go. They find their way back to you. It's meant to be. We are God's desire. It's an interesting concept because I feel like often we're living our lives desiring God, for those of us that are believers. Like even for the ones that are on the fence, even for the ones that want to believe but they're unsure, or they can't connect right, or it doesn't feel like a strong connection, but there's something that's beckoning us from behind, beyond, next to us, but not in front of us. More often we feel like we desire something, even if it's to understand what this concept is, whatever it is. But instead, if we think of the words of Psalm 18, verse 20, it says, God releases me because God desires me. We are God's desire. Wrestle with that concept for today. We're being called forth to live fully, to stand in strength, to let our lights shine. So often we are trying to strike a balance, and most often it's only that we can do it temporarily. Like we can find this balance between extreme poles of whatever they are. It doesn't matter what we're trying to balance, whatever aspect of life that we're trying to balance. There are definitely short moments where we feel like, bam, I'm balanced. I got it exactly right. But it's so temporary. It's for a second until we swing again. But finding enduring and persistent balance takes work. And we have to check in with ourselves. We have to, have an idea of what our goals are. We have to have an idea of, why we want this balance so dramatically in our lives. Like, why is it that in our life needs to be balanced? And so what is our drive to balance it? We have to find out why we desire it so badly. What's holding us back? What's setting us forward? Sending us forward, not setting us forward, sending us forward. And when we find ourselves heading to one extreme or another, because we can only balance it just for so long, and then we find ourselves swaying to one side or another, but it takes consistent compassion with ourselves and with others to discover the imbalance in itself. Sometimes it's like, I don't understand why it can't just be balanced, why it can't be aligned, why this has to be so difficult. But oftentimes, you have to discover what the part of the imbalance in order to find the balance. You have to truly understand, why do we keep swinging from one side to the other? What is it that's drawing us to one side or another and not allowing us to land in the middle? It becomes difficult when we can do it, when we are called to do it, when we feel like we're doing it over and over. And often it is overwhelming when there are deadlines involved, the deadlines usually that we're setting for ourselves. But there's truth in the idea that slow and steady wins the race. I was talking to a friend today and she's struggling, having a hard time. It's Mother's Day this weekend. Kids driving her crazy, whatever it is, like just a lot. And so I said, it feels like you're at the bottom. And so maybe you can only hold it together for an hour in this day, because maybe that's the truth. So then guess what? Instead of beating yourself up for the other 23 hours that you can't be exactly who you want to be, work on your endurance. Work on this idea that, I can only hold it together for an hour, and tomorrow maybe it's an hour and 1 minute, or maybe it's 2 hours, or maybe it's just anything more than 1 hour. Because let's be realistic. Balancing to total balance, to say, even if it's for 12 hours I held it together and the other 12 hours I didn't, we're balancing out the 24 hours. The truth is, as long as we are slowly and steadily finding our way towards the middle, towards the balance, towards the idea of, my heart feels okay. It feels a little bit better in this moment. Then we are using persistence, that we are using endurance, that we are persevering because we are confident that hiccup again. Hopefully that's it. We are doing the work with confidence, with saying, it's not going to be perfect, but I'm not going to give up. Netzach tells me we will endure. God willing, our people will endure too. That we'll find persistence in order to find a place in our heart that feels balanced, a place in our heart that feels truthful and compassionate, with harmony and beauty, letting our light shine in the world. So we have work to do. Of course we do. It wouldn't be Omer if we didn't. Our practice for today is a hard one, because many of us hold on to a lot of shit. How's that for choice of language? So we ask ourselves, what do I have to do to let go of, to move forward? What do I have to do to let it go so that I can move forward from that moment? It's a hard question. And it's going to take work more than one day. But it starts today. Today is the start of that. Ask yourself, what do I have to do? What do I have to let go of in order to move forward? Psalm 18 verse 2 says, I will act compassionately towards all. I'll remember that my strength comes from the mystery of being. But the mystery lies within us. Sometimes it feels so foreign, and sometimes it feels so at home. Let's do this work. Let's realize that we have what we need. We have what it takes. But it's not going to be easy. So we're going to persist. We're going to find endurance. And we're going to show up to find truth, to find balance, to find compassion. We are one human family, one heart of abundant love. We love you. We can't wait to see you tomorrow at 9:30. We will be together to lift up tradition for Shabbat morning, a little Torah, a little something. And then tomorrow night, of course, for Havdalah. I can't believe it again. It feels like it's coming around so quick. Don't ask my wife. She thinks it's taking forever. Each week, each day takes forever, but each week is even longer. But we'll be together to end Shabbat tomorrow night at 9:30 with Havdalah, and we'll just keep working on our counting, on our authenticity marathon. We're looking for endurance. We're looking for a way to get there, and we will together. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. 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 Od Avinu Chai. Shabbat Shalom, Laila Tova, restful night to us all.